Alright, ladies and gents, boys and girls, welcome back. It's me, Addy, again, and I hope you guys are doing amazing as always. So a couple of months ago now, you may recall that I uploaded a really important video to the channel. And that video was me talking about how I'm going to be stepping away from making review content on this channel, which used to be a very prominent aspect of it. What I used to do was after I would finish streaming through a game over on Twitch, I would script out these 10 to 20 minute long videos, record them, and edit them to the best of my ability in Premiere Pro, and then upload them to the YouTube channel here. In essence, I was making content that I put a lot of effort into and that I was very proud of, but that was also very time consuming. And in that video, I talked about how after 4 years of making that kind of content, I sadly don't have the amount of time that I used to allocate into continuing the production of it. So yeah, I had to stop making review content. It's been about 4 months. It's been since December that I haven't been making those videos, not because I wanted to stop, but because I had to. It's something I needed to do. And in a lot of ways, I'm happy I made that decision for myself. There have been times that we have finished games ever since where part of me was really itching to make some sort of a review video to, commemorate our experience with the game, because that's essentially what those videos were, right? Is they felt like a commemoration of my experience with the game. Some kind of an ultimate celebration of the fact that we played through this game, completed it, and now we are kind of rolling our own form of credits on the game by doing a review and send off to it. So it did kind of sting on some level, but I've largely moved on and I'm feeling a lot better now. I'm a lot happier now that I'm able to focus a lot more on things in my own life as well as live streaming in general. Nothing has come quite close to how much I enjoyed making those videos. And if I lived in the perfect world where I could just continue to make those without having to worry about anything else, I'll be doing that day in and day out. I just love the process of sharing my thoughts, having this microphone, being able to share my thoughts on a platform about the stuff I love most, the stuff that I've experienced. Now in my update video, I did also mention that something I've been doing since the very beginning of my live streaming days, since all the way back in 2019, has been obviously talking about what I think about the games that I've just streamed through at the end of the streams that we do, right? So the final episodes of the games that we stream through, I set aside a little bit of time at the very end of the streams to talk about what my thoughts on the games are. And the reason I obviously didn't used to upload those is because I would then go and make a formal high quality review video like the ones you used to see here on the channel, which I no longer make. I still continue to do these little thought segments at the end of my stream throughs, but I mentioned in my update video that the reason I don't upload those here to the main channel, those little live excerpts, is because I don't want to get to a point where they overshadow my high quality work that I'm proud of, right? The pre-scripted review videos that I would make in Premiere Pro. And I don't want them to overshadow those because I'm someone who tends to get my thoughts across a lot better when I do something pre-recorded and pre-scripted. Kind of like what we're doing here right now, even though this isn't actually pre-scripted at the moment. And that really stems from a lack of confidence, I feel. I haven't had the confidence in being able to produce something I'm proud of on the fly while live that is worth sharing here on my main channel. And I've always maintained that I want my main channel to really only feature the works that I am the most proud of. The works that, I've put a lot of effort into. But I'm sitting here on the 30th of April, 2025. This is a time during which a lot of games have been releasing simultaneously, and that's two games that I care about a lot. And not very long from now, even more games are going to be coming out that I will definitely want to speak on a whole bunch. Between things like Oblivion, which is my 4th favorite game ever, to which the remaster just came out, Expedition 33, which seems like a wonderful game that I've been hearing amazing things about. A game that scratches the itch of Legend of Dragoon fans and Sekiro fans, I suppose. Two things which I am super duper into. And of course, Kazan, and then, Death Stranding 2, which is the sequel to my 3rd favorite game ever, that is about to come out in less than 2 months from now. There are just a lot of games that I'm monumentally enthused about, and that I just really want to talk about as a result of that. And it's also worth noting that as of late, I've had a lot of wonderful folks in this community, a lot of friends in this community reach out to me and ask me if the old school reviews that I used to do are going to come back. Like, Addy, are you going to be talking about Kazan? Addy, you should definitely be talking about Expedition 33 once you play through that game. No ifs, no buts. You've got to do a review on that game. And of course, for Death Stranding 2, are we going to see something crazy for that on your channel here? So first of all, to those folks, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much. It really means a lot to me that you guys cared that much about the reviews and are looking forward to seeing them make a comeback in some way. I didn't realize a lot of you folks out there cared that much about the content. truth be told, I would mainly put it out because I was just in love with the process. I just loved making review content. I didn't do it for the views. I didn't do it for, the purpose of elevating my channel, because that wouldn't make any freaking sense, right? Review content is some of the most oversaturated on this platform. But no, truly, it does mean a lot to me that you guys have reached out and care that much. Secondly, I want to say that no. Simply put, I'm probably not going to be making videos in the style that I used to. This update here, if you were expecting some good news about me, reneging and going back to making my reviews. No, I hate to break some hearts out there, including my own, obviously. The review videos probably aren't coming back. But the purpose of today's video, as you probably already ascertained from the title and the thumbnail, is to establish that I will now be taking the excerpts I make at the end of my stream throughs of the games that we play, and we'll be publishing them here to the YouTube channel. The main YouTube channel, that is. I want to be able to build up confidence with posting more excerpts from the live streams that we do here to the main channel, and confidence with my ability to do articulate, eloquent reviews on the fly while we stream live. My hope is that over time, I'll be getting better at this stuff. I mean, I've already been doing it ever since 2019. I've, like I said, been spending time at the end of our stream throughs talking about my thoughts on the games that we play. But I've always had that safety crutch of a thought that, you know what, it's okay if something goes wrong, if I don't sound that articulate, or, if I don't get everything across that I want to about the games that I'm playing, because you know what? We're going to script a separate review and put it on the main channel anyway. That's what we were doing, right? But ever since we stopped that, I've developed a lot more anxiety at the end of my stream throughs of the games that we play, with doing the little mini review segments that we do live, because now there isn't some kind of formal review video that I'm going to be making after the whole playthrough of the game. But I want to get comfortable with taking what I believe is me doing my best at the end of my playthroughs with trying to get across my thoughts as effectively as I can and putting them here on the main channel. I want to get past that mental block of, Addy, your live content just isn't good enough to take snippets of to put here on the channel. We have done stuff like that over time, but it's never really been the main focus. And I want to get more comfortable with making that a more prominent aspect of the channel. And to recap, I'm ultimately doing all of this because I just have so much that I'm going to want to say about a lot of the games that are out right now and a lot of the games that are about to come out. I would like to find some kind of nice middle ground where I can have my thoughts here on the main channel with just a little bit of light editing, as you'll see, with the idea that I can't really spend a whole lot of time off stream making something, ancillary for the main channel here like I used to with the review videos. And of course, due to the second reason, which are the select few people who reached out to me and who I also ran into, who were asking me if these reviews would be back and that they are looking forward to them. Thank you all so much once again. I really do appreciate that. So what you're actually about to see here is my first crack at this. I'm going to be starting a new playlist on the channel here. I'll keep the playlist with my old school review videos. We'll call those just the OG reviews or legacy reviews or something like that, because I still want a playlist that highlights all the high quality old stuff that I did that I'm proud of. But we'll be starting a new playlist here of all these live excerpts where I talk about my thoughts about these games that we've played on Twitch, starting with my live reaction, live thoughts, live review to Final Fantasy V, which we finished back in February, after which we also played through 6. So gonna be kind of dipping my toes in this new idea, testing the waters out, getting more comfortable leading up to probably an Oblivion review as well that you guys will be seeing by first uploading my FF5 thoughts and then the FF6 thoughts as well, both of which are excerpts from my final streams of the games. You guys will notice immediately that they are very raw, they're very in the moment. They will never ever be anywhere near on the level, I don't think, as the old reviews that I used to do that were pre-scripted and well edited. But my goal of all of this is to continue celebrating this platform as a place for me to share my thoughts about the things I love most. And right now, I think that this is the most effective way I can do that, and also one of the most constructive, because you know what? I'm hopeful that over the time, by uploading enough of these, number one, I'm just going to get better at articulating my thoughts on the fly, which, even though I've been doing that since the very beginning, now that I'm more consciously thinking about being better at it, since, I'll be uploading these to the main channel, I think that'll definitely just help me with my speech a lot more and, my eloquence, which are things I'm generally pretty conscious of, and just my confidence overall. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this tiny little update here, and here's the Final Fantasy V review from when we finished the game on stream back in February. As always, if you want to catch the VODs of all of these streams, I do have a second channel, that's Irritable Archives, which I'll be linking in the description below. And until the next one, keep on keeping on. Very, very cool. Wasn't a fan of the ending in terms of the narrative, like it was just a little too drawn out. And in general, just like, it's not that the story was bad in the game, it just wasn't really anything special. I think it was decent. It got the job done. The characters are fun to follow. One of the more happier-go-luckier casts, that's for sure. But the gameplay is where Final Fantasy V truly shined. My god, was the gameplay insanely fun. Yeah, this is one of the coolest implementations of the job system that I've seen. No doubt about it. Very, very cool. Especially towards the end, like I was saying, the game really opens up and allows you to do so many different things. There's a lot of optional content and there's a lot of grinding for sure, but the really nice thing about this game is that the grinding is fun. It's worth grinding it out to get all the really cool jobs that are fun to use. And once again, like I said, the implementation was really cool, like how you can master these jobs, learn abilities to then equip as passives when you have a different primary job. The way that it was all woven together was fantastic, and I would absolutely have to say that this game has my second favorite implementation of the job system after Tactics. No doubt. It's like top 2 FF games in terms of the job system. 100%. It's very cool how even with the very first game where they took their first swing at this stuff, that being Final Fantasy III, it was pretty solid in that too. I really enjoyed towards the end of that playthrough how we were messing around with the Dark Knight job, and I will say it was a little bit tragic not seeing the Dark Knight in this game, but I'm okay with it because there were so many jobs and it was really cool how layered they were, and the fact that that is very conducive to a lot of replayability. Like I can see myself jumping back into this game in the future to experiment with some of the other jobs I never really played, like Beastmaster, Chemist, Bard, all of those. Yeah, it's been really fun playing through this version of these games. Right, this is the absolute, well, maybe not the definitive version, but one of the best ways to play them, right? Pixel art is on point. Games look really beautiful. But yeah, Final Fantasy V, man, the job system is where it absolutely shined. It really does carry the game. I don't think the story is that great, that special. And one of the main reasons is because it kind of retreads familiar ground for like the third or fourth time, right? With the crystals and how you gotta like protect them and destroy a great evil, that being Exdeath, who was a very kind of like one-note villain. He's one of the most one-note villains in the series. He's just like this dude who is larger than life and cartoonishly evil, and he's like always laughing all the time, like, wah. But I guess like in a way it was kind of refreshing. The silver lining is it was kind of refreshing to see a more theatrical villain like that. But if you're looking for something poignant with Final Fantasy V, I don't think you're really going to find it in terms of the narrative. I think the main thing for me that kind of maybe not super interested in the characters a whole bunch or didn't really find them very resonant was the fact that early on, all their stories and arcs are kind of wrapped up, right? Their arcs are sort of wrapped up fairly early on, and they're not really conflicted in any interesting ways. Like, especially Bart's the main character. I think it was cool in a way that he was a simple dude compared to most other FF protagonists. Like the fact that he's just this dude who wants to go on an adventure, right? And honor his father's memory. But he's like one of the few protagonists who's not really conflicted in any major way. Like a majority of, especially like the staple protagonists in the Final Fantasy franchise that would appear later down the line. And I think Cecil from 4 was like the very first crack at this. They had some major internal conflict, right? And some plot twist related to their identity that propelled them forward in a massive way. Bards didn't really have that. You know, by extension, a lot of the characters in this game, besides just him, they didn't really have too much interesting to offer, and I don't think the world was particularly that gripping either. But from what I understand, Final Fantasy VI is meant to be the zenith in terms of story quality amongst the first 6 games, so I'm very excited to get around to playing that. But once again, I will say, for where the game lacks in its story, the job system more than picks up the slack and absolutely delivers, and delivers goddamn well. I had so much fun towards the end of this game, so much so that yesterday, like you guys might have seen, I streamed for 10 hours. I went into that stream going, I'm kind of zapped today. I don't know if I'll be able to last more than 2 to 3 hours. Dude, I played this game for 10 hours straight. And even today, like, I wanted to play Marvel Rivals. I'm probably going to end the stream right now because we've been playing for 6 hours. I thought we would be, like, done with the game within the first 1 to 2. But then, like, ran into the super bosses, and I initially wasn't sure if I wanted to beat them. But then, like, I was just so sucked in, and I just wanted to do it all, you know? I really did. And I have no regrets. It was just really fun grinding it out towards the end, especially playing around with the mimes, unlocking the Mystic and, or mastering Mystic and Archer finally to be able to take down Omega. And picking up on really cool little tricks like using Berserk on the other super boss, the Shinryu super boss, and then, you know, spamming him with dual cast Bahamut. Just things like that, experimenting around with different abilities, synergizing them with the other party members was very, very fun, and has given me some mental notes that I've made about how to use some of these abilities going forward in other Final Fantasy games in ways that I never really used them before, like Berserk, for example, like I was just talking about. So yeah, gameplay, phenomenal. Story, decent. I would say that Final Fantasy V, in terms of my rating scale, gets a redonkulously recommend, I would say. I redonkulously recommend this game. Right, for those of you who don't know, for context, that is my second to last review rating short of Must Play Masterpiece. I really do recommend this one. It's a good starting point for sure for the Final Fantasy franchise, because the job system is structured in a really nice way. The story is okay, and at the same time, it retains the core of, you know, classic Final Fantasy storytelling, while adding a little bit more, right? It has a story about the crystals. It's in a medieval fantasy setting. You have 4 characters, which a majority of the games have, and those 4 characters have their own unique identities with what you give them as the jobs. Majority of the time, most Final Fantasies don't have that. The characters are given their own jobs based on their stories. Another interesting thing, this is one of the few Final Fantasies where you switch party members the least amount of times in terms of the story, right? The only one time that ever happens is when Galuf dies and Creel takes over, and it never happens again. The characters you get are the characters who stay. So just really interesting things that I picked up on like that gives this game its unique identity, and ultimately that's what I love about each Final Fantasy game, is how they exhibit their unique identities. And yeah, 5 was amazing, man. I really enjoyed it. And another thing that's unique about it is it had a lot of nudity. A lot of the bosses were naked as shit. So hey, if you're in the mood for a good Final Fantasy, or if you're just a nudist and want to see a game representing you, then this is a great game to play. Yeah, but jokes aside, solid experience, and I can't wait to get to Final Fantasy VI next, because I've heard from so many people that it is, you know, one of the greatest Final Fantasies of all time, if not the greatest, and you know, a lot of people's opinions. So that's my little review of FF5.